Welcome to POV with S&M. I am S&M Jones, and today we're going to talk about the thing that is on everybody's mind, the attack on Black men. Yes, I said the attack on Black men, but is it really an attack on Black men when I'm talking about Cassie and Diddy, when I'm talking about Meg the Stallion and Tory, and when I'm talking about DDG and Halle Bailey? Are those really the attack on Black men that we're talking about? Because for some strange reason, the internet seems to have these three women on trial versus the Black men who are either A, currently on trial for RICO in some cases, or alleged RICO, or who received a restraining order for domestic violence, or for shooting somebody in the foot allegedly. But can we say allegedly when he was already tried and convicted of such? And so let's just run it back to some of the issues that I've been seeing as they talk about this attack on Black men. And in order for it to be an attack on Black men, i.e., let me separate 2 points first before we get started. The first point, the attack on Black men that comes outside of the race, i.e., from other people, is something that I'm actually not going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about this so-called attack on Black men by Black women, because I'm still trying to figure out where exactly were the Black women attacking these Black men. And as a matter of fact, if I recall correctly, these Black men actually attacked the Black women. And except for one person case, Tory, who's now alleging that he never attacked Meg the Stallion, but once again, he is currently sitting in jail. But let's start with something that's super simple. There seems to be some type of animosity towards these women coming forward in their respective cases. So we're going to start with the one that I believe will be the easiest to explain, and that would be DDG. And DDG is so-called currently under attack because he just spent the last 6 months doing a smear campaign against his baby mama. And for some strange reason, she was the one who was attacking him, even though he wrote a diss song about her, even though he was constantly on his stream talking about her, about, oh, he's not letting me see my son. But then we find out through text messages and so forth that she had, it turns out she was letting him see the son. As a matter of fact, she was trying to arrange it so that he could see his son via the court system, as well as just in general, anytime he wanted. Except he always liked to choose the inopportune time to go see his son, allegedly. And then when he go pick up his son, it looked like he was dropping that little boy off at his mama's house. You know, I started thinking about why so many people was like, oh, she's just dogging him out and she's holding the son. And that's because there's a lot of bitter baby daddies out there. You guys like to talk about the bitter Black woman and the bitter baby mamas, but let's just go ahead and admit there's a lot of bitter baby daddies out there who don't want to see their baby mama thriving. And at the same time, while they're claiming that they're not seeing their child, they're taking their child straight to their mama house because they're not watching or caretaking for their own children. So when all these text messages came out, there still was such a strong hate towards her when the abuse, or alleged abuse, because she currently only have a restraining order, although she does have some pictures. There was commentary about, oh, pictures, that's just a picture of something. It doesn't say that he was the one who did it. And you know what? I can see why some people may think that, because it is just a picture. Just like the video of Cassie was just a video with Diddy in there. Or it kind of reminded me of when, what was his name? When he had that song, It Wasn't Me, Even Though You Caught Me in the Shower. Shaggy. He listed all the times it wasn't me. Oh, R. Kelly actually had a situation like that too, where it wasn't him peeing on that 14-year-old girl, but for some reason that 14-year-old girl was demonized instead of that man who was a child predator and molester and abuser. And so, but that was another attack on the Black man. So let's keep on going. So now that we have the restraining order in place, I want to actually switch to Cassie, because folks are like, oh, she was complicit. Yes, she was complicit. She acknowledged that she participated because she wanted to make him happy. Then it was like, oh, this is just a case of domestic violence. And it was like, yeah, she was domestic violence. Like, oh, she could have left. Yeah, she could have left. And she tried to leave. And she got her ass beat each and every time she tried to leave. It turns out she got her ass beat quite often. Now, how did that correlate to DDG as an example? Folks are saying, well, she could have just left. Well, guess who did leave? Halle, she left. And y'all still hating on her. She left and got a restraining order because she wanted to hold him accountable for his actions. But you guys are like, oh, well, she's breaking up the family. What family? What family is she breaking up? Because she's supposed to stay and deal with abuse, or because she's supposed to stay and deal with his controlling, insecure self? So what family was she breaking up? Because she chose to step away. But at the same time, Cassie did stay after getting her ass whooped. And y'all like, oh, well, she stayed, so she must have liked it. Oh, she stayed, so she was complicit. So which one is it? Should she got out at the first chance she got, like Halle did, or she has stayed like Cassie did and continued to get her ass beat and manipulated and all these other things that come with domestic violence, because folks are saying, oh, this is just a case about domestic violence, which a portion of it was predicated on domestic violence. So let's go ahead and talk about this attack on Black men. Meg the Stallion, she can't just catch a break to save her life. I feel sorry for her in the day that she decided to engage with Tory Lanez, because regardless if she has sex with him or not, that is the gift that keeps on giving. That's a poisonous gift, because for whatever reason, she cannot disassociate and move on with her life, because every chance y'all get, y'all trying to drag her back into the mud. First, Tory already had a record, but it's attack on Black men. Meg didn't even try to testify initially. As a matter of fact, she kept quiet for a couple months, and it was Tory who kept running his mouth. But you guys don't want to talk about that, right? You want to talk about, oh, but she testified against them. Yeah, but she didn't press charges against them. It was actually the state who did it, because she tried to avoid it. And then when the state pressed charges, then she was compelled. And she could have not testified. Then she would have got subpoenaed to testify. And, she could have hid from that. There's a whole lot of could have done, but it didn't happen like that. So here's my question. If he was so innocent, and then why did he sit in jail for so long before saying that, you know what, it was Kelsey that did it? And if it was Kelsey that did it, why the hate towards Meg? At the end of the day, she was still shot in the foot. She was still the victim. So for some reason, this attack on Black men actually seemed to be an attack on the women in this situation. And that's concerning. And it's actually perplexing, because that tells me how you guys, or some guys, will feel if their mother, daughters, or whoever was in this situation, because a picture doesn't tell you anything. A video isn't proof. So what more proof do you need in these cases of somebody who is being harmed physically? Because it's a Black man and they're being held accountable for their wrongdoings and their misdeeds, now all of a sudden it's an attack on Black men. Now, this is not to discredit when there is an actual attack on Black men, but these Black men that we're currently talking about apparently have a history of destruction. They have a history of certain things, of violence. They have a history. And now DDG, he's relatively young, so he actually has time to change. He has time to take this lesson in. But with this cohort of toxicity that's coming out there, where is everybody fault but his fault? Is everybody fault but their fault for their actions, because they were allowed to be in this little bubble where it was like, protect them at all costs? Nah, protect these Black women at all costs. In particular, these women. Now, in Meg the Stallion case, because she acknowledged in her testimony that she actually didn't see who shot her, if I recall correctly. Apparently there was the door was in the way, or whatever the case may be. So in that case, I would be more than happy to give Tory reasonable doubt, and so, but a jury of his peers didn't find any reasonable doubt, apparently, and that's why he was in jail. That's why he was convicted, along with the fact that I believe he already was on probation for a gun charge. I'm not quite sure, so I'm not going to speak on things too much that I don't know about in that regards. But what I do know, it looks like attack on Black men really means don't hold Black men accountable for the fuck shit that they've been doing. That's what it looks like to me. And now you may take what I'm saying as attack, but it's not, because all I'm doing is saying, hey, let's hold these men accountable for their actions. Stop re-victimizing the women who finally spoke up. This situation with DDG, for example, occurred back in January, and she just not decided to get a restraining order. Or the fact that Meg Thee Stallion actually didn't file the charges initially. She didn't press charges. It was the state that went after him. Or the fact that Cassie, after constantly, and people say, oh, it's because he turned her down and he's now looking at somebody else and she got jealous, or she got paid out. But wasn't paid out. Even if she got paid out from the abuse, even if she got paid out from the hotel incident, which was only a recent payout, that payout didn't happen in 2016 like some folks are claiming. That payout happened recently. Or was it the fact that she was being extorted, her mom was being extorted not to release her sex tapes, because Diddy was like, hey, if she don't come back, I'm going to release her sex tapes. So here's my question to you. When does it become, let's hold these men accountable versus, oh, it's an attack on Black men. It's a reason to bring down these particular Black men. Because there's a lot of Black men out there and they're not being attacked. There's a lot of Black men out there who are experiencing the good life. They're high on power, rich on whatever, their wealth and whatnot, but you don't see them being dragged in the media because of their own personal wrongdoings. So let's stop this bullshit argument when it comes to these particular cases about, oh, there's an attack on Black men. No, these Black men are being held accountable for their actions. And you know what? I'm going to say it's about damn time, because once again, it's always something about the gender war, Black women doing this. Black women are not oppressing Black men. Let's stop the bullshit and stop the cap and constantly talk about how Black women are oppressing Black men. We are not. We are not unaliving Black men at a stunning rate. We are not keeping Black men from their kids at an astounding rate. As a matter of fact, if Black men really want their children, they can go to court. She even offered in DDG case, was like, hey, let's go to court, get your visitation. And he was like, no, let's keep it out of court. Okay, she said, fine. She tried to work it out with him. And he chose to be who he was because he wanted to portray that drama of, oh, my baby being kept from me. When in reality, he was forcing that narrative upon himself, because it's so easy to blame the women in this society. It was easier for folks to believe that she was the bitter baby mama versus him being the bitter baby daddy because she was moving on. Being a bitter baby daddy because she finally was like, you know what? Let me take a stand. Let me do this. Because she could have ended up being another Cassie. And then y'all would have been like, oh, well, why she didn't take a stand? Why she didn't do anything about it? Why she stayed with them? That's why. Because of folks like you who judge no matter which way it's going to go, because it's damned if the woman do and it's damned if it don't. So I would just say Diddy deserves everything that he's getting. I don't give a fuck what anybody else have to say about that, because at the end of the day, he was dead ass wrong. And you may say, well, what about such and such person? Like, for example, when Bill Cosby was on there, you guys kept saying, what about Harvey Weinstein? He was being handled too. You know, you're like, oh, well, what aboutism doesn't stop what's wrong from being wrong. What aboutism doesn't mean that we give these men passes, or even women in the cases when we have women that's doing wrong, give them passes by saying, what about this? Or what about that? No, let's hold these people accountable. If they're wrong, they're wrong. It has nothing to do with, oh, Black men are under attack. No, they're dead ass wrong. But that's just my perspective. I've been hearing a lot of your perspective already, but I will be more than happy to listen to your perspective as well. So shoot it in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's information that I don't even have, that I don't know, because all I'm seeing is what I read in the media. All I'm reading or seeing is the information that's coming out there. And just like everybody else, we all are forming opinions.